My name is Gibbs, and I moved to Nashville almost 3 decades ago. I was born and raised in a little town called Scottsville, Kentucky, but I came to Nashville to follow my job and my career. I worked here for a few years and got married, and then I started having children, and I am a mother of 5. So about 5 years ago, when my children were all starting to get ready to go to college, I decided I needed to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I started journaling. But I didn't really like that, and before I knew it, I had started creating a character. And for me trying to figure out what was going to be my next chapter in life, it turned out to be 28 chapters and an epilogue. So I wrote a novel. Writing for me just gives me such freedom. It's almost like adult play therapy, because I can create a whole character, a whole world. In my book that I just released, it's my debut book, I got to create an entire imaginary small town in Kentucky, right down to character names, their little quirks, their relationships, their secrets. And so for writing, it has been such a wonderful experience for me, because now I get to express myself. And don't get me wrong, I've loved being a stay-at-home mother all those years, and now I'm getting to do something for myself with them. There are some people that I based characters on, and of course I went the extra mile because you have to make them dramatic. But there are certain people that are coming to my life that might show up in the book, and I also have named, I had to name an entire town of people. So I've lovingly used some names of friends and family, and kind of leaving little pieces, like little candy trails for my friends to read. So I started writing a few years ago when my children were getting ready to start going to college. I had 5 children, and I really had devoted my life to being the stay-at-home mom. And then I realized that I was going to be an empty nester at 50. And 50 when I was in my 20s seemed ancient. But now that I'm in my 50s, it seems totally normal. So I started writing because I wanted to express myself, or to figure out who I wanted to be. But then it turned into something else, and now I write every day. I write a blog. I now have a podcast. I have connected with so many writers around the country, and I have to say, the writing community is the most giving, the most generous community with their time, with their advice, support. And so now I have a whole new network, and I love that part of writing. I think the gift of writing for me taught me that you're never too old to follow a dream. A lot of people think that, I could never write a book, or I can never do that at my age. But I am here to say that you can do it at any age. I had never written anything longer than an email since college, or maybe one of my children's birthday invitations. But I really worked at it, and it gave me such joy, and it gave me some pride too. As being a stay-at-home mom, we always kind of think of our family, our husband, our children first, and now I'm kind of getting a little bit of that for myself. So it's been incredible, and it's actually helped all aspects of my life. It's given me confidence that I never had before. I never would have thought 5 years ago I would be hosting a podcast. Of course, 5 years ago, I wouldn't know what a podcast is. It may be hard, and writing was very hard. I made a lot of mistakes in my first draft, and second, and third, and fourth. But it also taught me if you stick with something long enough, you can accomplish it. So it's so hard to pick one favorite store at the mall, because this is my place to go. I am a very short woman, so I don't buy things online. I want to hold what I'm buying. This is my place to shop, and I've been shopping here since I moved to Nashville. So I've been in Nashville, like I said, almost 3 decades, and I moved here. There was no Titans, there were no Predators. I know people complain that they think that our town has gotten too big and people need to stay away, but I say, come. I love this town. I would not live anywhere else. Now, I love Kentucky, and it is still my home, but I would never change anything about Nashville. Obviously, we need some help on infrastructure, maybe a little bit more public transportation, but I see the beauty in this town, and I am thankful that I get to call this my hometown. Starting out writing a book, I didn't know all the rules, so I had to learn a lot of things the hard way. But I told my children a little bit what I was doing. Of course, they thought I was writing a cookbook because they knew me as the woman who grew a car full, and I was always in the kitchen. I think a lot of it was the accountability that I can do this. And I loved this story. I didn't really know how to tell it at first, but I knew that there was a story there, and I wanted Penny and Bradley's story to shine through. So that's what kept me going. And then after that, you have the whole trying to find a publisher, and that was a whole other thing. But I think it was just, I set out to do something, and I wanted to accomplish it. So Where the Grass Grows Blue, which is my debut women's fiction novel set in the South, is one woman's tangled journey to either accept her troubled past by embracing the power of forgiveness or risk losing a second chance at love in a small Kentucky town. It's a quintessential Southern experience full of complex family dynamics, friendship, food, and a love affair that spans 20 years. So, Where the Grass Grows Blue if you're looking for Southern fiction.